what are the key technologies that are will give you the best data points or signals to actually start getting visibility? I know there's a lot of components for that, whether it's encodes or, but is there the short list of, kind of like must-haves?
Well, so I'll definitely go. I'll basically start like there's three I'm going to ask about just out of the gate. If I'm protecting traditional infrastructure, I'm going to ask, like, do you have an endpoint? Do you have any EDR of some sort? And by EDR, what I really mean there is not necessarily a source of detection, but I would like that, but also something that provides me investigative telemetry. So this is a thing that a lot of people scream by when they're buying tech, is they'll buy something that can ring the alarm bell. Right? Okay, fair enough. Like an AV, awesome. You probably need to have one. There's a compliance checkbox for that. But what that's not going to let you do is ask a follow-up question like, what happened next? Right? An EDR is going to let you do that. And so that's like one of the first things we're going to do is ask, like, what have you got and how instrumented is it? Right? Second thing I'm going to look for, because my background is in network technologies, is I'm going to, like, do you have something on your network that does DPI? Do you have IPS, IDS, some sort of full packet solution? Do you have something ringing your infrastructure? That's that kind of stuff, so I can get some notion of like what's bubbling out, what's contacting the outside world, that sort of thing. The third thing we're going to ask about is a SIM, and I think one of the things that people oftentimes are a little bit, I don't want to say derogatory, but they tend to dismiss SIM as sort of like, yesterday's news. I will tell you what, SIM might not be my first choice for detecting things in the main, right? Depending on what kind of logging you have and stuff like this. But the number of times we'll pivot into a SIM to get historical information during an investigation is huge. And if you have a SIM infrastructure and you're well instrumented, it can actually provide a tremendous amount of value. I think in every single one of these cases, in the traditional infrastructure case, I would warn everybody, like, do not make perfect the enemy of the good. Right. So the number of times people like, well, we have an EDR, but we're only like 85% instrumented. Okay, cool. That's better than 0% instrumented. Let's connect up. That'll get us started, that kind of thing. And we can build to better. I have a SIM, but it doesn't have all the right logs. Okay, fair enough. But we'll still connect to it and we'll figure out what other logs we need and we'll build over time. I think oftentimes people are like, well, our program isn't done until it's perfect. And I'm like, I've been doing this a long time. It's never perfect, right? Ever. Right. On the cloud side, it's more interesting, I think, because the puck is still moving rapidly, right? I don't think anyone would disagree with the technologies I just named for the enterprise infrastructure. But I'll tell you, for cloud, one of the things we do is we connect directly up to the cloud providers to get some of the telemetry directly and build detections on it directly, because when we started this journey, the detection technology in the cloud was significantly more immature. Now you've got a whole bunch of different vendors, from CSPM vendors, posture management folks, all the way through to cloud detection stuff. You have traditional vendors moving into the cloud space, so I think it's going to become a crowded and kind of more varied space. But the thing I would do is, absolutely, if you're in something like an AWS has some built-in detections, and you should turn them on. Right. One, two, like they have some standards on how to configure things. You should do those, like at the very minimum. Right. And then a lot of different vendors have, some additional add-ons and things like this. Like I said, we built some of our own detections to get out of the box and running. So.